everyone. Hopefully, we'll have everyone joining us here soon. I am live. It's been a little while. Hopefully, going to have Valerie on here in just a second. She's here to give us an update on Benco and the methylene chloride story. There's lots of new latest developments and stuff, so that's the most important thing today. Just want to check my lives first. And, this is being recorded, so if you can't join us, it's okay. We'll, it'll be recorded and you'll just find it online. So if you can join us, I'll pop the link in the chat. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find that. So if you want to join on in the stream, you can use this link to just join us live if you want to have something to talk about. I know I'm kind of doing this last minute, so just wanted to kind of go live with you guys and see how y'all doing. It's been an exciting week with lots of stories to tell. In fact, I heard one this morning from a person in one of the chat groups I'm in, and everybody has this personal story and personal life, I guess, journey of life, and it's sometimes hard to go through this journey because you think you're all alone, but when you share the story, you'll find a lot of support there, and that's what I found this morning when I was in this chat group. Somebody was sharing some really disheartening news, and leads to a lot of changes and unknowns in life. I know we're certainly facing that here at Maui Powder Works right now. And we're actually taking a disaster recovery course as part of a grant that we received. And it's kind of put a lot of things in perspective. Of course, shout outs to Justin Marshall, Triple G. I hope he'll join us, but he said that the power is still out and the phones are down, so internet and stuff. So I just been texting him and everything, but I didn't realize how bad it was out there in Houston. But yeah, I guess about 500,000 people are still without power, and of course that's phones and internet as well. So just want to let you know to keep him in your thoughts. Of course, the work is probably still piling up for him, but what can you do, right? So these are some of the things that I'm considering. In fact, here's my little notes. I have a meeting at 11:15. This all talks about it, and it's really detailed, guys. I can't wait to share this with you when I'm all done with the series and share some of my insights. But I want to bring, Scott, welcome to the show. I am bringing Valerie on now with me. So let me add her. Hello, Valerie.
Hello there. How nice to see you.
Yes, you too, on a Friday. Yay, we made another week. You have quite a few updates to give us about this. It's like a soap opera, Valerie.
It really is. And it's interesting. It's just like a chess game. Everybody makes a move, and some of them don't make sense, but there's always a reason. But
yeah,
I think that you guys have talked about the fact that the Chevron case helps us a bit. And from what I understand, it does help to set the precedence that the federal government is pulling back some of the power that these agencies have.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up that link too, because we just talked about it in an upcoming show called In the News. But in case you don't reach that one, I want to hear it from you, because let me find the link here. Here's my I've got it here. Is this it? No, that's. I guess I have it. I can just Google it. It was a
Well,
Chevron.
I can email you one of the articles that I've been using to reference. Um, and it kind of
It's a grist
condensed
one.
it and
Mhm.
made it interesting.
Yeah, go ahead and talk. I'm still looking for my
As-
um, thing. It was a certain article that I had listed in that I had brought up for the show. And but go ahead and
Well, no,
just
the
here it
article that I was
is. I
referencing,
found it.
yeah, they say that there's because of that this whole Chevron case, it allowed it was allowing agencies to change course even when Congress didn't give them the power to do so.
Yeah.
And so they essentially they're taking that power away from them.
Yeah.
So that is what we have now. We have an EPA overreach because, as you know, we've talked many times about the fact that OSHA developed standards years ago. It was studied and tried and true, and there have been safe practices and
Yeah.
safe businesses, and there's really no reason to change. The significant change in 18 was that it was taken out of the retail market, and I believe that's good because people did not read safety warnings. But since that has happened, there have been no workplace deaths in the industry because people follow the set OSHA guidelines.
Right.
All right, so we've been there.
Right.
We talked about that. All right, so then recently, the big fight was to get it to make sure we wanted to make certain that they could try this in the Fifth Circuit Court in Texas because they're more conservative. They don't like EPA overreach, from what I understand. You know, and I'm paraphrasing what I've been told, so I apologize if I'm not using the correct legal jargon. But
Yeah.
this
That's
is
okay. We
okay.
just want the nitty gritty, right? You know,
Right,
because
the nitty gritty.
we're
So what
we're business
happened
owners,
is
right?
the lottery allowed it to be held in the Fifth Circuit Court.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a Latino organization that represented like 200,000 construction workers. And so they jumped in with the Sierra Club trying to get it to go to the ninth in San Francisco and defend, you know, to help power up the defense of what the EPA was trying to do. But just Wednesday, that was denied.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So that's the
that I think,
latest. Yeah.
yeah, that is the latest. That was denied. So we now have we're back in the Fifth Circuit Court,
Mm-hmm.
and there, you know, chemical companies behind this. They've used a few of our customers to be named in the suit as businesses harmed
Yep.
by this, but also the National Federation of Independent Businesses is also jumping in, and I will have more information about that later. But coming in and talking about how this is um, adversely affecting small businesses in particular and independents. So
Mm-hmm.
I will have more information about that. But again, I encourage anyone that wants to fight this, send a letter to your congressman, or if you can contact your independent, every state, I believe, has a federation, NFIB, National Federation of Independent Businesses. And if you talk to them, they're, you know, it's the legal record or the legal venue that they're using, or strategy, excuse me, that's a better word, is that it's adversely affecting independent businesses. So it's a bias. It's a biased. But again, I'm
Yeah. And
paraphrasing.
before we get to the implications of what it means to be a business owner, and you know how we're going to manage all that on either whichever way it goes. Um, this Chevron doctrine thing is pivotal because the way I read it and the way I understand it, and we cover more of it in the segment called In the News with Kim and Jim, which is going to be out next week. So we cover this specifically in detail. But the essential thing that I got from it was that in the past, this overturning, or this Chevron doctrine basically allowed government agencies like the EPA or any department in the government to kind of set the tone, or it basically overruled any other expert in the court, including the judges and the juries.
Right.
So like, they basically, if they were called to the stand, and if the EPA or, I don't know, Federal Trade Commission, or,
Yeah, SEC, all of it.
and any of it, yeah, they're basically saying, we're the authority and this is what we're saying, therefore it should be taken as, instead of just taking impartial for, letting the judge or the courts decide, it's basically saying, no, we are in charge of this, and this is what we're saying, and this is what, so it gives them ultimate power, even overriding the judge's power, because what they were coming from was that, well, the courts and the judges may not know the finer details of chemistry or chemicals or drugs, if it's the FDA or whatever, right? And so the courts would be deferring to these government agencies to have the ultimate authority on whatever it is they're talking about in the court case. So it kind of makes it a little slighted, depending on which side you're on. So this is actually a good development for everyone, in a sense that it frees up a lot of that, burden, I guess, to, not have these environmental people after us, and saying what they say is law, or what, when it's just a ruling. So,
well, and don't you think that when they could interject that what their interpretation of it was, that they didn't have to deal with accurate scientific data? They didn't have the facts. Right. They could use whatever they could spin it, so to speak. So
I know, and that's the thing that just drives me crazy, is that these, especially with the climate changeologist people, it just seems like, I read one today, it was like, like IVF, pollution causes a decrease of IVS, like, make it, like your chances of your IV, what is it, when you get inseminated to have a child, right? Like,
yes,
your chances go down 37% because of pollution, and they've proved that. I was like, I can't even, some of that stuff, it's like, are you kidding me? It's so woo woo, and what are they talking about, right? Like,
yeah,
anything and everything they're attacking on that level. So
they spin the facts to fit their narrative.
They do. Yeah, it's a simpler way of saying that. But,
yeah,
like,
we need real data.
Right, we do. We need data on both sides, so that we can, because there's always, for every one, there's a counter, right? So,
right.
So yeah, that, and then rolling back what you were saying earlier. So it's the Sierra Club and this Latin American group were trying to kind of cut in line, I guess, so to speak, on this lawsuit to kind of bring it back to the Ninth Circuit, because they said that there were, and I almost kind of took offense to this. We talked about it earlier. They were saying, like, they were defending the Latin American construction people in that construction industry down in Mexico and Latin America, to say that they're a vulnerable group. And I don't know what they mean by that. I didn't read too deeply into it, but are they saying that they can't read the directions, or that they're being forced to use this product? Painters and paint strippers, they're being forced to use this, and this is causing unduly harm to these people because they have no choice.
That somewhat implies that the people that they're working for are not following OSHA safety standards, safe practices.
Right.
It just,
yeah. So it's sort of, I got the lawsuit that the Sierra Club and this Latin American club was trying to do, or their angle was to kind of put the the heat on the EPA to continue to push their this ruling, to not let them back down, and hold their feet to the flame, so to speak, on the ruling, in by kind of putting this lawsuit together. I don't know if it was two different lawsuits or if it was just one lawsuit with the two groups, but the Sierra Club can be sort of, good and bad. Depends on what side they're on, I guess, or what they're fighting, right?
Right.
So sometimes they go a little, here in Maui, they did a really good thing by protecting, and making the county come to terms with some of the stuff that they were doing here with the water reclamation site here in Lahaina. And so that was a good thing because it was affecting coral and creating algae blooms and stuff like that. But,
Right.
they're not everything they stand behind or push is, it just can be extreme, I guess.
Yes.
Can be extreme and not helpful. So, let's, what does this all mean for us? What is, we're not trying to predict the outcome of the courts or anything. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but in thinking of possibilities, or because there's been talks in the groups about maybe trying to buy up a bunch of supply. I don't want to create artificial demand and have you run short on your products at the
Mhm.
moment when it may not be necessary.
Well, we've upped our production, and I think a lot of it is because people are busy. People are busy working. I my sales guy Bill, he says you got to make hay while the sun shines. Just
Yeah.
do it because the chances of overturning this and prevailing and being allowed to use methylene chloride, it looks good today, but
Right.
there's no reason we can't just continue, because there will be a time frame. If the EPA prevails, there will be a time frame as to how long we have to retrofit our exhaust systems and get to a level of 2 parts per million. Um, and actually, that's going to be harder for us as the formulator than it will be for the workers.
Mm-hmm.
But so when the time comes, we're going to talk throughout all of this. When the time
Right.
comes, we'll stockpile, we'll increase, but I don't think people should run and try to stockpile now, because there's a good year and a half before anything might happen, and you don't
Okay.
want old product.
Right.
And the supply of raw materials is looking consistent. It's not like the supply chain problem that happened in 2022. So
And
it's
maybe it's a good time to start thinking about buying an E-strip tank. you know, um,
yes,
I know
that
for
too.
us, we really have, we hardly use the methylene chloride anymore. It just, I mean, if Ross has a small quickie part that just
Mhm.
failed or whatever, he'll pop it in there and do it real quick. But most of the time, that E-strip tank is just our go-to. And I can't tell you how happy he is using it
Oh,
when
good.
he has to use it and stuff. I think ultimately, either way, if things proceed with this ruling, I think it's going to overall make restoration more expensive.
Definitely.
The cost of restoring, because now
Mhm.
you have to buy a $30,000 machine, or more, um, and stuff. I know you have financial, you've got like certain um, financing available for your tanks, and I'm sure
Yes.
some of the other ones do too. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how it does play out, because I am totally worried about um, the viability of people that are just starting out in this business and cannot scale their business. It's a huge jump to have
It
that
is.
much money to begin with, or have the credit to buy it when you're just starting out.
Well, there are ways to start out on a smaller scale with a big metal drum and a drum heater.
That's true.
but you're running a drum heater constantly because you're not insulated. You it's hard to keep the temperature at a steady temp to get the most effective stripping.
Yeah.
Because as you know, if you don't have it heated to 180 degrees, if you start out cold, it just creates more problems on the stripping. You have to get it up there. You have to get
Well,
that
you can
temp up.
only fit one rim.
Right, and it takes a long time
You know,
on a
we
drum
can fit
heater
a
to
lot
get
in
it
that.
right.
Yeah, we can fit a lot in that tank, you know.
So we're trying to figure out if there's any way to make a smaller tank um, more economical, but due to the indirect heat that we do at the bottom to make it extraordinarily safe, that is enclosed. It, that's the hardest part of the whole thing. So if it was smaller, it's still going to be hard. It's just smaller. So we're working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to kind of talk it through, just so that, people can have the angles that they're,
Mhm.
that will work best for them. Right.
Mhm. Right.
Let's see. Let's hear from some of the people here. We've got Scott from SCP Powder Coating. I think startups will be fine, and the big shops will be fine. It's the ones in between that will have the most trouble. So, and maybe this is kind of like the continuation. Drum will be too small. The big tank will. Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Is how are these companies going to scale?
Right.
Um, and stuff is kind of is really where you're at. You know what I mean? If you're small
Right.
enough, you can kind of maybe hoard some of that, that B17. But in cold areas and stuff like that, those guys, they need the heat in
Yeah,
order
it
to make
slows
it work.
down. Yeah, it does slow down in the cold,
Yeah,
and you don't want to heat your B17 because you don't want to create any gases or vapors in
right,
excess because that's dangerous.
right, right.
So, but we'll continue to work on trying to get a more economical tank together,
That,
and
yeah,
that's that's kind of the bottom line.
yeah. I would say definitely. Let me check over on Instagram here. I think the Instagram guys, I don't see their conversation. If anybody's watching, maybe they are.
Okay.
I'm kind of doing it on my Maui Powderworks channel instead of so I haven't done live in a while, so I'm kind of like, okay, what am I doing here? I don't see the live stream working, but if you are on I see it live. It says go live.
Huh.
I went live. Oh, there's the comments. Okay. So yeah, uh, I think that more is going to come to light. When is is there a date for the lawsuit yet? The fifth?
I don't have a specific date yet. I'm sure I'll hear about that. Um, the lawyer is wonderful. He gets me information the minute he has it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will let you know and keep you abreast of all the changes and
Yeah.
the ebbs and flows of gains and losses of ground on the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's been great. I appreciate that. I know you've got a lot on your plate just even running Benco, and taking care of all of us here. So I appreciate the time on a Friday to kind of talk about this and give us like a brief live update. Um,
Well, like I've
yeah.
said before, the goal here is to prevail because this is a very important tool of our trade, and to
Yeah.
have that taken away is really going to be detrimental to a lot of people because it's cost effective, it's fast.
Yeah. And, maybe that could be explored some of the other e-tank, I swear to God, you get a 6-wheel tank, you need something bigger. There's
Okay.
always, it's one of those kind of things. I thought we'd be
Well,
fine with the 6-wheel tank, and there are, like there's gates and railings. There's
mhm.
man gates that need, that
Well,
just.
We make custom made tanks. We've made one that's 8 by 8 feet. So
Yeah. I know, and it's almost like it's just like powder coating. You always need a bigger oven, you always need a bigger shop or
mhm,
whatever, and that's always seems to be the problem because it's more than just having going from the small methylene chloride tank for rims and stuff with the overpack drum to like having the space for a six-wheel tank and a place to rinse and a
mhm,
place to filter your water and all this kind of stuff. So, it's not, and the electrical
yeah,
that is required as well. So, it's a lot to think about. It was certainly more than I thought about when I purchased the tank. But again, I don't look back at it now because I mean, it's really helped us out a lot. I'm
good.
grateful for the tank that we have. We're halfway through our monthly payments, so they're already calling us, "Hey, you want some more financing?" I'm like, "No, I've got enough equipment right now. I don't even have an inch in this shop to do anything more. We're pretty much tapped out on space, and I wish we had a bigger shop so that we could do more with it. But thanks again for coming on the show today and just spending a few moments with us talking about that.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you.
All right. Thanks, Valerie. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
everyone. Okay, bye.
Bye. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Right. Um, that was Valerie at Benco Sales, just kind of giving us an update on the methylene chloride debacle or drama. It's a kind of soap opera, if you ask me. Who knew chemicals could be so um, interesting? I guess in with all of the different agencies and stuff. I hope you guys are doing good on an open mic. It's open mic live. So I appreciate you guys all joining me. It is recorded, I will post it online, and you'll be able to see it after the show. So, what I do want to talk about, some other things. Namely, we have a webinar coming up, which I'd like to show, present our new video for it. Let me get my screen up again. Um, this is our new ad. And I'm just going to play it here for you real quick and then show you the link. So hopefully you guys can hear it. You know you're successful, but without you running the show every day, things would fall apart.
Did you know that 50% of businesses fail within their first 5 years of opening?
Does being overwhelmed with managing the financial side sound familiar? Maybe you've even struggled with poor cash flow, bidding accurately, profit instability, retaining employees, and making payroll.
If any of these sound familiar, we know how you feel. It feels like being trapped in a corner. You can't take any time off because your business needs you to function.
That's why we created a training called 4 Steps to Financial Success in Your Powder Coating Biz. We'll take you from being stuck where you are now to running it like the CEO you were meant to be. You'll learn how to get in control of your cash, confident about bidding, tracking your business with success.
If you want to finally stop working in your business and start working on it, get out of the trap you're in and register for this event right now.
Click the link below to sign up for this exclusive event to improve your business. Aren't you worth it? Join me along with Shelby Ashley and save $10 off this exclusive event. Seats are limited. Use the link below. Okay, so that is our new ad. We're going to be doing our first webinar. I had Shelby on at the beginning of the year, and I just want to share with you the episode she was on. Let's see if I can go there and find it. It was at the beginning of the year, and we talked about some financial stuff, uh, and how to kind of track your financial accounting and stuff like that. So that was quite a while ago. It seems like here we go. Episode 62, Straddle and Strategize Your Business Growth. And we had fun. She's so educated and she is so informative. I'll show you the link to this. I'll pop it in the chat too. I don't know if you watched this one, but if you did, go and watch it now. You'll get familiar with her. And then about a month or two ago, she came to me and said, "Hey, I have an idea for a webinar. Do you want to join me?" And I said, absolutely, because you can't talk about how to manage your business enough financially. And I have some pretty shocking statistics that I want to share with you, which kind of makes it even more. And the reason why I'm going to bring this up and why it's so important is, as you know, with the fires, we took a downturn, and it was really tough there for the first few months. We kind of started to do a turnaround, I guess, in December. We had a pretty good December, and we finished kind of strong for the year, only because we'd done so well prior to the fires, which was in August. And one of the things that kind of helped us survive was that we ended up getting a couple of grants through the Maui Economic Opportunity Group here on Maui, and a few, I think the Chamber of Commerce. And so now I'm taking a course on disaster management for your business. And it's taking me through some pretty hard, just some things. It's not hard, but it's enough to kind of really make you think, wow, what would it be like if you went through a natural disaster? So with that, I want you guys to all keep in mind that I just talked to Justin Marshall from Triple G in Houston, and I texted him, and then he texted me back. Basically, he was saying, let me find his text, that they are still without power. And he said he was going to try to make it, but that he wasn't sure if he could make it live. His house has no power. My shop does not. Oh, no, his house has power. His shop doesn't. Nowhere has internet or phone service. So it's a hit or miss if the phone is working or not. So I tell you, I was so busy last week, I didn't even realize how bad it was in Houston with that storm. So shout out to Justin. I hope you get back on track, because, the thing is just because your shop is closed doesn't mean that the business isn't still piling up. So, there are lots of things to consider, some of which I'm going to be going into a meeting at about 10:15 today, talking with one of the guys that's with me on this disaster recovery plan, because let me tell you, they have a whole thing that helps you get organized here. I've made some notes on the course and stuff like that, but they have it all broken down into different categories on building a team, simplifying your backup systems, gathering documents, prioritizing what's important for your business, identifying hazards, identifying what is the most likely event in your area regionally. How do you prepare your workforce? How do you mitigate and kind of make it easier on you? Do you have a plan or a book for your employees so they know? Do they come to your shop? These are, and it's all based on how extreme an event, a disaster event, could be in your area. Maybe it's just your area, maybe it's more regional, maybe it's kind of more systematically much larger. So kind of interesting stuff to talk about, stuff you don't want to talk about. But sometimes it's good to go through this stuff so that you can understand where you are, so you're not scrambling. And I think that that's what most people were saying through this program that I'm going through is 40%, these are statistics from the Chamber of Commerce, 40% of businesses do not reopen after a disaster, a natural disaster. 25% of those businesses fail in the first year. Think about that. 25 after, if you do manage to reopen after a natural disaster, 25% still face failure. 90% of businesses will fail 2 years after a natural disaster. So Maui Powder Works isn't out of the weeds just yet, guys. We have survived on some grants. That's really helped us. These are staggering statistics that I just had to write down because I had to watch the seminar and that's what they were talking about. 62% of businesses do not have disaster insurance. I'm not even sure what's included in my insurance. I just need to get the minimum, right? So obviously I need to do a little bit more in there, but I don't think we have specific disaster insurance on our insurance policy for our business. This one says 27% of disaster or a threat from, I can't read my own writing, but basically, yeah, 27% are not, don't shut down. They continue to run. But still, those are pretty crazy, because to think that, okay, we've survived the first year after a natural disaster, we're in the top, we're in 25% category here because we almost survived the first year as of next month. But we still are going to be now falling into the 90% of businesses that could fail in the next 2 years. That doesn't sound very comfortable to me, but I guess it's something to deeply think about in your business. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'm going to share with you the link to the ad where we are, Shelby, Ashley, and I are going to be joining you at I think it's July 31st. It's at the end of the month. Starts at in the afternoon, I think about 2 o'clock Eastern time. It's a virtual event, and basically there is a $10 off ticket. So you should be able to add your coupon and it's a $35 to attend the event, but there's a $10 coupon, so it makes it only $10. You can't miss this. This is going to be a fun event. We're going to Shelby's going to cover her end of it, which is, just financial understanding or understanding the terms in your business and what's important. And then I'm going to come on at the end of the show, which is kind of the bonus part of the show. And I'm going to show you how I go about making bids. Ross and I have developed a way to calculate and get bids out quickly. I think that has a lot to do with the success of a company, is how you can. So let me pop that up in the chat here. Hold on. Let me get it out now. Share my screen. Here we go. So we're having this financial workshop. I think it's going to be fun. I hope you guys will join us. It's $25 with the coupon. So it's list price at $35, but it's just $25 if you get the coupon at checkout. This is going to be a good hour and a half event. And at the end, I'm going to show you my QuickBooks, basically, and how quickly I can make a bid out to and how I do it. There's no secrets. I'm not revealing anything that can't be figured out by somebody else, but I just want to kind of share what we do and how we do it, because the last thing you need to do is stress about how to bid the job when there can be so many different variables, right? It's also a good time for you guys to come and ask me and Shelby if you have any for future questions about about managing your financials for your powder coating biz, because every business is different, right? So this specifically covers powder coating businesses. We're not going to be talking about detail businesses or rim doing rims and stuff in automotive, but we can talk about specifically powder coating jobs, how we bid rims. I can give you a link to that, how we do architectural jobs or structural jobs when people email us. So I hope you'll join us for that event. I'll pop this link in the chat so you can join and sign up. And that'll be right here. And that's pretty much it. I'm glad you joined us today. I'll be sharing that ad out here in a little while, so you'll probably see it again. And I hope you do. I think we have some signups actually already for this event. You can always go to our events calendar, which is here. I'll show you where the events calendar is on our website at rosscoat.com. You go to events calendar, you can just see it right here. So I've got this July edition of In the News coming out next week. We have also this financial workshop on July 31st, and there's more in there, and that includes the coupon there. So I hope you'll join us for that. It'll be an interesting. We'd love to get like about 10 or 12 people in there. I think it'll be fun. We'll have some Q&A at the end, and we just want to help you guys with your business and stuff. So this is how we do it. Shelby's got her CFO brain that can help you manage and make money, right? So anyways, I'll pop that link in the chat so you can kind of head over there and just view all of our events and stuff like that. So I hope you guys have a great day. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate all the attendance today, mostly on LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, but Instagram. I'll pop this in the podcast so you can at least listen to it. And of course, it'll be on our live stream. So have a beautiful Friday and a great weekend. Aloha.